What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. If we have a look at what's going on, it's nothing really too major. We do have some minor percentages lost, but it's there you go. Now we're up. Bitcoin's up. So that being said, guys, before we get into it, I want to give a massive shout out to Crypto J from the Crypto Zombies community. He just sent me a huge box of Crypto Zombie t-shirts, totally free. And guys, we're going to be giving them away. So starting today, if you guys want, this is what the shirt looks like. As you guys can see right here, it looks really, really great in real life. Trust me, guys. I mean, these shirts are really nice quality. So just comment below, say that you want the shirt. Also, let me know what size you are, because I actually have multiple sizes, and we will do a random drawing tomorrow, and you can get a t-shirt. And eventually we're going to actually, have them available, but right now we're just giving them away. So that being said, having a look at what's going on, we see Bitcoin is sitting around $3,797, XRP 36 cents, and Ethereum $125 with $127 billion market cap. So you saw Bitcoin dominance go up just a little bit overnight. And if we have a look at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Eternal Token yet again smashing it, 144%. Wow, I didn't see that one coming. Dex, Komodo, Nexo, Insight Chain, Ethereum Classic, Factum, 0x, KuCoin shares, Digitex futures, and as we go lower, you see that kind of the gains flatten out or just kind of don't really exist. So it's a kind of, meh day in the market. So obviously this is where we are right here. We had this dump, then we had the rally, and now we're pulling back again. So the question is, are we going to go lower? Are we going to go below 3,000? Or are we just going to take off again? Well, let's have a look at what's going on. Obviously, as you guys know, last night was insane what just happened with the stocks. So in US, we saw a significant rise. The Dow Jones up 5% and NASDAQ almost 6%. In Asia, you also had Japan's Nikkei 225 up more than 3%. So stocks are doing great. Well, they're not really doing great, but they had a good day, right? So analysts also noticed that MasterCard showed U.S. holiday retail sales up 5.1%, which is the strongest growth in 6 years. That's pretty interesting. Now, here's the chart right here. You can kind of see, I know I'm in the way, but what's interesting is if you look at the blue, this is what happened with Bitcoin, and then the red and the orange is what happened with the S&P and also the Dow Jones. So check this out, guys. How weird is it how they are perfectly mirroring each other? Can you see this? Look at this. It's like literally like this goes up, this goes down, right? And then this, look, they almost touched right there, and then they both diverge. So very, very, very interesting. I'm not saying it's, anything suspicious, could be total coincidence, but it is interesting to look at the correlation between the two. However, the interesting thing, if you're talking about traditional stocks, is that you're finding that a lot of these guys are still kind of scared, right? So you have Robert Duggan, a senior portfolio manager at Skybridge Capital, and he basically says that he hasn't seen managers this shell-shocked and confused in a very long time. People have been heading for the exits and selling their positions over the last 2 weeks. Well, come on over to crypto, guys. We deal with this volatility on a daily basis. So it's interesting because the Dow Jones experienced a super strong recovery. And usually during this time, investors don't anticipate these types of gains. In fact, it's more common to see extended sell-offs through December, right? So basically what's been holding the US up so far and preventing a sharper global slowdown is the consumer. If the US economy starts to slow at this juncture, that would accelerate the overall slowdown in the global momentum. So there's definitely a growing concern about the future of the economy. By the way, guys, I am going to get into crypto. I'm doing a segue here. So the Fed, tightened too quickly, and DC is a mess, and it isn't going to get anything done. So until there's some more clarity on what DC is going to look like, markets are still going to struggle. Now, this is according to most experts in the traditional market. So investors are not relieved by the strong performance of the Dow Jones on the day because of the unusual volatility in the markets and what they have demonstrated over the past several weeks. So they still think that there's a chance of a further plummet for, regular stocks, saying that the bear market could be quite far from over. Now, the question is, how is this affecting crypto? Well, speaking with Anthony Pompliano, who we talk about many times on this channel, he actually says that he's calling for a further dip. In fact, he says that we may actually either bottom out at 3,000 or go below 3,000. And he's saying that, unfortunately, short term, he is quite bearish. Now, when asked if these Bitcoin prices were correlated with, what's going on with the stocks, he says, not at all. I don't think so. They stand completely alone. And not to mention the fact that if you guys watch Tone Vase, I don't know if you watched him on YouTube, he does a lot of technical analysis. He's saying that we could potentially go all the way down to 1,500, which would basically be the peak of the bull run all the way back in 2013. So will we go that low? I don't really want to go that low, but if we do, guys, I hope you have your fiat prepared on the side, and you're being smart with that dollar cost averaging because, here's the thing. If it goes down, there's going to be some great buying opportunities. So just be ready in either case and don't go all in. A lot of people make that mistake, right? So the question a lot of people ask, though, is what is exactly the price of Bitcoin that we're looking for? What is the fair price of Bitcoin? Like, what should Bitcoin actually be, right? Well, this guy over here, Christian Ott, now he talks about the all-time volume-weighted average price, or the ATVWA. So what the heck is this? Well, basically he says that you see a lot of people, they figure that the average price of Bitcoin is just take all the transactions and all the history and then just equally divide it, right? And then that'll give you your price. But that's not really accurate because there wasn't really a lot of volume happening back in, 2011, 2012, 2013, whereas now we're having a ton of volume. Now, some of it is wash volume, which we can get in for another day. But that being said, we have to kind of reevaluate how we're assessing it. So if you look at the last 8.5 years of Bitcoin daily prices and you added it up and you divided it by the number of days that it traded publicly, the result is an average price around $1,500 US, which is interesting because that's exactly the price that Tone Vase was saying that we could potentially go down to. However, like I said, that's not exactly the fair price because, like, if you're calculating it in the early days, for example, 2010, through 2012, Bitcoin didn't have a lot of trading. Here's a chart right here. You could see, this is in Bitcoin. So we're hitting almost 800K, average daily trading volume. Whereas back in 2010, we were, I don't even know, well below 100K. We were almost like 20K a day or something like that, right? So, of course, we do have to consider some exchange volumes consist of 95% wash trading, which I just spoke about. However, if you look at this chart right here, this is the general average of the all-time VWAP. So basically, what is the conclusion? Well, if history would repeat itself, which doesn't obviously happen all the time, given the small sample size, there would be an accumulation period of Bitcoin from the beginning of 2019 into the second half of 2019, which is what a lot of guys are calling for. They're calling for this bear market to potentially extend for, the first 2 quarters of next year. But then they're saying that the appropriate ATVWAP Bitcoin price should be around $4,800, okay? So $4,800 is the target price for Bitcoin. So we're probably going to be bouncing up and down. We could go down to 1,500. We might stop at 3. We might bounce up a little bit, but it looks like that $4,800, according to this, is kind of what we're looking for, okay? Now, they do say to keep in mind that the ATVWAP is an adaptive metric. So if Bitcoin stays below 4,000 for a long period, well, then this might shift this number a little bit lower. But currently, right now, the price that we're looking for is $4,800. And given where we are right now, we would have to come somewhere up into this region right here. So we're not anywhere close, so don't get too excited just yet, guys. However, do take this opportunity to potentially, save up some fiat on the side for, a good time to enter. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, though, now this is a little worrisome. Now, Kyle Samani actually brought this up, and this was in relation to what's happening with BITMAIN. Now, BITMAIN, you're having reports in China that are saying that that their layoffs are likely to be as high as up to 85%, not 50%. Now, guys, take this with a grain of salt. No one has confirmed this, but this is the rumors. But I'm showing you that these are actually here. So he says that this is really bearish for both Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, which is really weird. Why Litecoin, right? Well, the thing is we have to know that these markets, they're all connected right now. Crypto's not that big, okay? We are a very, very, very small little drop in the bucket when it comes to all, the money in the world, right? So basically, Samani's bearish theory is based on BITMAIN's alleged financial report, which was leaked in August. Now, this is it right here, okay? Now, he's worried because he says that they have 1 million Bitcoin Cash and almost 1 million Litecoin. So as you can see right here, according to the current rates, BITMAIN must be holding around 28.6 million in Litecoin and around 177 million in Bitcoin Cash. So this is the leaked document right here, and it also shows that they hold some Bitcoin, some Dash, and some Ethereum as well, bringing what they have right now to 316 million worth of cryptocurrency in reserves. So some people are worried about what happens if they actually dump this on the market, okay, to try to gain back some of those losses, right? So though it wasn't actually confirmed by BITMAIN, allocating vast amounts of computing power to assist the Bitcoin Cash network could have led the company to face millions of dollars worth of monetary damages. On top of that, the per token value of Bitcoin Cash also fell by more than 60% since the beginning of the hash war that went on in November. So if these guys were allocating their hash power, they're losing money, then also what they are mining is actually going down in value 60% to be precise. Then they're laying off their Bitcoin Cash dev team, all right? And now they're saying they could lay up to potentially 85% off. Now, if they have all of these extra tokens, they have, these coins, they have Dash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, what is going to happen if they dump this on the markets? That's something we have to consider. So I wanted to also talk about, we have BTC King 555, and it's a Twitter account. He usually just posts negative things and rumors and stuff like that. Now, he talks about how the company had privately reported 740 million worth of losses in Q3, which doesn't even include the damages that it incurred during the Bitcoin Cash fork. So citing publicly available data, BitMEX Research also estimated that BITMAIN likely posted significant losses in Q2 following a wildly successful first quarter. So the events could put Bitcoin Cash under the bearish spotlight, hinting that retail investors would be less likely to find the project stable. So this is what happens, guys, when you have this much power, okay? They had a great quarter. They kind of jumped the gun, maybe didn't really allocate capital properly. Then they got involved in the Bitcoin hash rate, the hash war. So there you go. I mean, guys, this is crazy. So if BITMAIN actually does decide that they really need to regain some of these losses and they turn to dumping all of this on the exchanges, hopefully they don't do it all at once. But if they do, that could definitely affect us moving forward. Now, what else could also affect us and is affecting us is the fact that 420,000 ETH has been sold in December. Now, this is from liquidated ICO treasuries. We just talked about this yesterday. So as you can see right here, they've liquidated more and more and more and more. Now, by the way, the black is total, whereas the square right here is net withdrawal. So coming right here, you have 423.8K. So if you're curious, who is dumping? Well, it looks like these are some of the three biggest right here. Almost half of the total withdrawal amounts of ETH in December came from Filecoin. They sold off around 216,906 ETH. The second project, which liquidated almost all of its ETH holdings, was Substratum. They withdrew around 8,931 ETH. And then Kyber also had a pretty massive amount, 66,454, which leaves Kyber just 3,000 ETH left in reserves total. So this is interesting. I mean, it's do or die. We're going up against the wall here. Can these guys have enough funds to keep moving forward and achieve what they have to? And how bad is this dumping going to continue if these guys keep feeling the pressure, especially if the prices fall even lower? Now, one other thing that Anthony Pompliano mentioned, which I didn't bring up in the beginning, when they talked to him, was they said, what do you think one thing that you believe that other crypto funds would probably disagree with you on? And he said that ICOs were a horrible investment opportunity and the people and funds should have refrained from investing in most of them. They asked him, well, then what would you invest in? To which he said Bitcoin, obviously. But the interesting thing is when you look at the damage that the ICOs have done to the markets, you realize that we really didn't need most of this crap, okay? The problem is there were so many dApps coming out, being built on top of platforms that weren't even really ready. A lot of the infrastructure still has a lot of ways to go, but yet we were building, taxi apps and all these different crazy apps, right? Who was even using these things? So I wanted to talk about over the last few years, the crypto space has sort of deviated from the original vision of, financial access, which was well articulated in Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper. So, originally Bitcoin was just supposed to be peer-to-peer electronic digital cash, but then the idea of blockchain technology sparked so many ideas. We had Ethereum, we had third generation platforms like Neo, all these other things. EOS came out, Tron, XRP, they're doing their thing with remittances, which would still hold true to the idea of financial access. But similar to the internet boom, which I know we make this comparison all the time, but if you look at the boom and bust of the internet, nearly every imaginable use case, from tracking flower freshness to Kodak coin, used blockchain as a buzzword to gain influence and attract eyeballs. So if we were looking back at the internet boom, right? Pets.com, we had all these different unnecessary websites. Pretty much it was like buying a domain name and people were throwing, millions of dollars at a domain, which was insane. So just like the early days in the internet, you're seeing similar things happen right now with the technology and the development in crypto. So let's just take an example, right? Let's just take Netflix. Netflix wouldn't have been a successful streaming TV show in the year 2000, okay? You want to know why? Because fewer than 1% of people had access to broadband. It would have been horrible. You would have never been able to stream anything, and it would have failed, right? But in the last few years, it's become clear that payments are the one use case where blockchain works today, all right? So it's all about timing. I mean, we had a phone that came out. I remember they were called Helio phones, and they had MySpace Mobile, right? Imagine that. And the phone came out, and we were so excited, and I bought it. And it was a really expensive phone back in the day, and I took it home and I went to go use MySpace and I couldn't, because we didn't have 3G yet in our area. We were still using that 1X, whatever the hell it was back in the day, right? So I bought this phone and I couldn't even use the damn thing on it, right? So in 2019, blockchain will build on the momentum and branch into decentralized finance applications such as loans and insurance products and leveraged blockchain-based smart contract platforms. Now, we've seen this already with different things like Nexo, just for example, right? So some of the best building happens in down markets. We've seen that. As long as builders can stay focused on solving very specific use cases, we will see more competition, innovation, and a much needed unbundling from all these other things, which is why personally I'm still very bullish on the space. I think we've only just scratched the surface of our capabilities right now. Yes, we did get a little bit off topic, not off topic, but I guess off the rails a little bit from being just, monetary access, Bitcoin being peer-to-peer cash. But that being said, I wanted to also talk about OTC buying. This is something that we just kind of bring up in passing, right? So the question is can OTC markets actually have a significant impact on Bitcoin and the price? Now, most people would say no, because this is all done behind the scenes, right? So let's have a look at this. So large institution investors and high-profile retail traders often rely on the OTC market for orders that usually exceed over 100 million. Well, why is this the case? Well, if we go over here, imagine if you were going to try to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin, right? Or $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So let's just go to the sell here, right? So these are all the sales. All right, so look, what is this guy selling? 39 Bitcoin. 19 Bitcoin, okay, 149,000, right? So in order for me to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin, I'd have to buy up this entire book. Obviously, each time buying it slightly higher than the last time. This also goes for selling. When you see these guys crashing the markets, right? If we're going to just sell the market, well, then we sell all the way down, right? Well, that doesn't happen with OTC. So in case, you don't know what OTC is. But anyway, getting back onto it. So buying 1,000 Bitcoin at market today on Coinbase, for example, if you're going to do it on Coinbase, even given the current price, would cost you around $4,400 per coin, which is almost 10% of a premium to spot for, the trade. So this isn't good. So like in FX, the liquidity for physical Bitcoin is fragmented across a bunch of different exchanges. So market makers will usually put together various order books, aggregated order books as they're called, and execute across value. Still, the liquidity for physical Bitcoins is not that great, and I just pointed that out. So if you look right here in the chart, throughout the past several months, several major cryptocurrency exchanges, for example, Coinbase, are starting to develop these custodial solutions. The minimum investment threshold on Coinbase, for example, their custody is $5 million, which if bought on the exchanges could easily result in a 10 to 15% premium rate. So in July, the Tab Group, which is an international research company, reported that the OTC market is estimated to be 2 to 3 times larger than the entire cryptocurrency market, yet we are not seeing any of this affecting the price, right? So the cryptocurrency exchange market processes about 4 billion worth of Bitcoin trades on a daily basis, but it's estimated that anywhere between 8 billion to 12 billion per day is happening in the background, quietly, unreported on OTC. So Monica Somerville, who's a senior fintech analyst at the Tab Group, and they're the guys that did the research, she responded to some inquiries on the lack of movement of large transaction on Bitcoin blockchain, stating that in many cases, Bitcoin holders, now check this out, this totally blew my mind, and this is almost a little weird to me actually. Bitcoin holders pass on the wallets and the private keys to the wallets to the buyers, and as such, not all transactions are broadcasted to the public blockchain. This is freaking trippy. So basically what these guys are doing is they're not even sending the Bitcoin. They just have a wallet. That wallet holds, I don't know, 500 Bitcoin in it, right? And then instead of sending that to another person, also saving themselves on the transaction fee of, the miner fee, they're basically just turning over the private keys to the person who bought it. You see what I'm saying? Crazy. So the rabbit hole goes even deeper. So just keep in mind that not all of these are showing up on the blockchain. So yeah, we don't even know. Now, they do say that the custody will increase the volume, though. The trend in several major markets, including Japan, South Korea, and the United States, is shifting from the development of infrastructure focused on individual traders to custodial solutions and strictly regulated investment vehicles, which may allow the OTC market to have an even larger impact on the price trend of Bitcoin in the long term. Also, not to mention, as we begin to get some of these incoming institutional tools, like for example, Backed, which is physically settled Bitcoin, this could potentially encourage holding or hodling, right? Since they have to stay with Backed for their custody solution. So it could help out moving forward. So that was just something that I wanted to bring up, guys. Now, there's a lot of good news happening, though, in the background, especially with Bitcoin, okay? If you talk about channel capacity of the Lightning Network, it's grown over 200% in just the past 6 weeks alone, allowing the network's capacity as a whole to surpass the $2 million mark. Now, this is really, really good. As you can see right here, look at this massive jump that we took right here, guys. So average channel capacity grew to 3.5 million Satoshis. The 90th percentile, which is this blue line, experienced the largest increase to over 15 million sats. So that is definitely good news moving forward. And you know what else is some good news? We are finally having something positive come out of India. Now, this is something that everyone in the Crypto Zombies Telegram chat was talking about all morning. They're really excited about this after, what RBI had basically done. So it looks like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin may soon actually become legal in India, as the cryptocurrency community in the country has been actually pressuring the government, to figure out what's going on. So according to local news, the local news outlet News India Express, they basically said that the interdisciplinary committee set up by the Indian government is looking into regulating and legalizing cryptocurrencies, although with very tough terms and conditions. So the new India Express reports come days after another local news outlet claimed the same interdisciplinary committee is working to ban cryptocurrencies from India. So looks like we're hearing two different things right here, but it does look like we are sure that the committee is scheduled to meet again in January, and the official was quoted as saying, "We have also taken inputs from cryptocurrency exchanges and experts and will be examining legal issues with the law ministry. It's a complicated issue. Once all aspects are decided, then we will have more clarity." So it's not official, okay? But so far, things are looking a lot better than they were in the past, okay? So, moving on, I wanted to also talk about this crypto whale watch that's been going on for XRP. Now, if you go down here, these are all the tweets from Whale Alert, if you've ever followed them on Twitter. So basically, a few hours ago, someone moved 90 million XRP, which is worth around 33.5 million, from an unknown wallet to another. Soon after that, another 30 million XRP worth around $11 million was moved between two unknown wallets. Neither of these appear to be going to an exchange. Now, you're probably saying, oh, it's an exchange or it's Ripple. Well, it's actually not Ripple, because it says that even though that Ripple regularly sells large amounts of the XRP it owns, this particular transfer does not appear to be them. So that's not the case. There's actually another batch of XRP. Now, this is 51 million that got moved on Friday. Now, this transfer is 22.3 million, and this was sent to Bitstamp, which indicates that it could be a trader preparing for a sell-off. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. Could be nothing at all. Could be something, right? I don't know what's going on. So is there going to be a massive sell-off with XRP? Could be. Or they could just be moving it around. I don't know. Let me know. Maybe you guys know something I don't. But I just wanted to bring that out to you guys. Now, I also wanted to talk about Ripple says that it's focusing on the adoption of XRapid in 2019. A lot of people have been sort of kind of bashing on Ripple and XRP, basically being like, oh, well, it's great if they use XCurrent, but if they don't use XRapid, they're not going to use XRP, and where's the value of the token going to come from, right? Well, it looks like in a new episode of the Ripple Drop, which is Ripple's Senior Vice President of Product, Ashish Burla, in the video, talking about the commercial launch of XRapid, which utilizes XRP. So one of the really exciting things about XRapid is, well, this is according to Ashish, is that not only did we get the product launched technically, but we've got it live in Mexico and we've got it live in the Philippines. We want to bring XRapid to more corridors. We're looking at what specific corridors have regulatory clarity that we need, but also solve a big pain point for our customers. So guys, I actually was reading my comments yesterday, and somebody, shout out to whoever it was, I forget who it was, but brought up a really crazy comment about decoupling these coins from Bitcoin. Now, I get excited when we decouple. I think it's good. I think it allows other coins to grow. But as we begin to decouple from Bitcoin, this is a question I'm asking you guys. Will the value of Bitcoin be worth, like, will Bitcoin's value be worth less as well? Because right now, Bitcoin is the biggest base pair on all the exchanges, right? So it has a lot of value currently because you kind of have to go through it as a conduit. Whereas if these other base pairs start being utilized, will that decrease the demand for Bitcoin? Now, that's a question I'm putting in your court. So drop a comment below. I want to start a discussion. I'm very curious how you guys feel about this. Now, I also want to talk about something really cool. So check this out. So you have Litecoin. They look like they're going to be sponsoring some stuff over at UFC 232. This is hilarious, this joke, by the way. It says, now, of course, Charlie Lee knows a thing or two about getting pummeled mercilessly after selling all of his Litecoin just in time to escape the ravages of the bear market. So the UFC platform suits him just fine. Ha ha, very funny, motherfucker. So, excited to announce that the Litecoin logo will be on the canvas as the official cryptocurrency partner of UFC 232 on December 29th in Inglewood, California. So this is freaking awesome. So the UFC deal represents the first for cryptocurrency to be spotlighted inside of the octagon, positioning the Litecoin logo in front of potentially millions of people. We know how big these UFC fights are. So this is a milestone for the Litecoin community and for cryptocurrency in general, as it's going to allow a lot more people to go, hey, you know, what's that logo all about, right? Maybe somebody, oh, it's Litecoin, it's a crypto, right? I don't know. Could it give it validity? I don't know, guys. Does anybody pay attention to the damn ads? I think it's cool. So Litecoin could use some positive attention too. Now they're talking about how Charlie Lee basically went on because he sold his Litecoin at the all-time high and told everybody, you know, if you can't handle, you know, holding it through the low. And as for the fight, one Reddit member cleverly suggested it will be a no hodls barred event. Okay. Moving on, let's talk about some other news. So we have Genesis Vision. So they say that we're happy to announce that today is the day when Genesis Vision managers will be granted access to the beautiful world of Forex. This magnificent occasion is being powered by none other than Just to Trade Online Limited, a heavily regulated Forex broker. So Genesis Vision managers can create ECN accounts, which provide access to no less than 53 Forex instruments, 3 different types of precious metals, 3 different CFDs on energy sources, 13 CFDs on indices, and a couple of cryptos thrown into the mix. So that is great news for Genesis Vision. Also, really cool news. Check this out, guys. So Atari has partnered with Animoca Brands, might have said that wrong, to make blockchain versions of Atari games, Roller Coaster Tycoon Touch and Goon Squad. So what is this going to entail? Not 100% sure. However, I just want to note, Roller Coaster Tycoon has over 19 million downloads. In fact, I am quite a fan of it myself. It's pretty fun. So that is good news moving forward. Also, somebody pointed out to me today in the community that there's this website called, I don't know how to pronounce if it's Block U or Block EW, but basically it's blockew.com, and it's solely for just crypto and blockchain jobs, and it's really legit. If you're a developer and you're interested, I don't know if this applies to you, but look at this. I mean, KuCoin, administrative manager, Binance, senior DevOps engineer, 0x, NEM, blockchain.com, EOS.io, Zilliqa, Thunder. I mean, look at all these jobs available. Managing director for Europe at Kraken. So there you guys go. I mean, if you guys are looking for jobs in the blockchain space, check out Blockchain EU. Maybe there'll be something in there for you. So moving on to some regular news of the day. Of course, we couldn't go a day without Mt. Gox being in the news yet again. So we have the CEO, Mark Karpelès, of the collapsed exchange, Mt. Gox. If you guys don't know what Mt. Gox is, well, just Google it. It was a pretty terrible, terrible time. So he's pretty much facing charges of embezzling approximately $3 million from the exchange. He says he apologized for the failure to protect the users' cryptocurrencies from backing out, but he's still saying that he is not guilty on the charges that are being presented in court. So one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchanges by trading volume, Mt. Gox, collapsed in early 2014 as it was revealed that it lost over 800,000 Bitcoin, which at the time was $480 million. Obviously, it would be worth a lot more right now. So while he's not accused over the hacking losses, they are accusing him of moving 340 million yen, which were rightfully belonged to the customers, to his own personal account between September and December, and he used it on all different things like investing in software and what else. So he's also accused of manipulating data on Mt. Gox's trading system, and they've recently upped his potential sentence from 5 years to 10 years. So I guess we have to keep an eye on this and see how that situation develops. But here's the funny thing. Oh, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, we're all the criminals, right? Well, meanwhile, you have Morgan Stanley being fined $10 million by Financial Industry Regulatory Authority in a probe into its anti-money laundering program. So this happened on Wednesday, and FINRA said that the banking giant failed to adequately detect and coordinate the supervision of certain suspicious transactions within its anti-money laundering program. So yeah, this happens in the real world too, guys. So these guys are getting hit with this anti-money laundering crap. So FINRA added that the bank had not implemented procedures that would allow periodic review of its systems, and according to the Wall Street Journal, the bank said it had accepted the fine without admitting or denying the charges. So there you guys go. So talking about some good news before we get on out of here. Now stay with me, people. We have a major business school in South Korea now offering a master's degree in cryptocurrency. Wow, so you can get a master's degree in crypto. Crypto MBA is 1.5-year program that covers topics such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, smart contracts, crypto funds, DApp planning, game theory, and how to write persuasive white papers. How to write persuasive white papers sounds like you're setting these kids up to sell a shammy ICO. Meanwhile, the government is working on following up crypto regulations as well, so this is very good news moving forward. Also, really random, I just wanted to bring this up, guys, not 100% crypto related, although I have seen some people somehow turning this into something crypto related. But basically, you have a team of Chinese researchers that have figured out a way to transform copper into a new material that is almost identical to gold. Now, I was reading this stuff online that was like, people were like, well, that's it. That's it. Gold is no longer a store of value. Now we got to use Bitcoin because these guys can counterfeit it. Well, here's the thing, okay? The new material is not really good for counterfeiting because even though it has the properties of gold, it has the density of copper. So it'll never be able to, still have that density of gold. However, it has a similar weight and look to gold, and the research paper notes that the new material based on copper can replace gold and silver in the manufacturing process of electronic devices, which require significant amounts of precious metals. So there you go. That is interesting. So it actually may affect the price of gold because I know people do use gold for parts in electronics and stuff like that. So if they start using this, it could potentially affect the demand. So just wanted to throw that out there, guys. That's it. We're getting out of here. Before we go, I don't know how they're doing it, but Ledger is still offering 30% off. So if you guys haven't had a chance to get your Ledgers yet, they're probably not going to be having this. I think it looks like they're just doing it in December. So link in description if you guys are interested. I use Ledgers. They're my favorite hardware wallets. And also before we go, guys, we have 13 hours left for the Coldlar Pro 3 giveaway. This is a cold storage wallet. These are $620 value. If you guys are interested, there's 1,569 total entries and 13 hours left at the time of making this video. So, if you guys want, link in the description below. You can head on over to the Blockchain Brief website. Also, if you want, you can register for free. You can get a free, we give away our past issues for free. Plus, you always get the preview of the new one too. And don't forget, we have a new one coming out January. So that being said, guys, that's it for me today. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I know you're pumped for the weekend. I'm sure it's been a crazy, hectic, long week with the holidays and everything. It's hard to kind of get back on track. Everyone kind of, having our food comas, opening presents. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Plus the year in crypto as well. So we are trying to just readjust ourselves and get back on the grind here. So that being said, I want to say shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, everyone joining the Telegram group. You guys are freaking awesome. Really love you guys. Thank you so much. Obviously, you're the reason that I do what I do every single day. That being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.